Here is the front of a Bugatti Chiron Per Sport, and here is the rear hob of a Bugatti Chiron Per Sport, and today we've got to connect both of them together.
In February 2026, Matt Armstrong dropped a video that immediately grabbed the car world's attention, using basic garage tools. He begins dismantling the monocoque of a crashed Bugatti Chiron Per Sport. This directly contradicts earlier statements from Matey Rimac, who insists such work should only be done at official facilities due to safety risks. But Matt does it anyway, and films everything. No specialized equipment, no factory engineers, just one mechanic and a damaged hypercar. The video spreads fast, reactions split. Some praise the spirit of independent repair, others warn about safety and standards. And this isn't new. Matt has already rebuilt crashed cars from Ferrari and Lamborghini, often facing quiet resistance, parts denied, software locked, access restricted. Still, he keeps going. And with every build, the tension grows between individual ownership and manufacturer control. Background: Matt Armstrong and the right to repair movement in the hypercar world. Matt Armstrong is not a factory-trained engineer. He starts as a BMX rider, then teaches himself mechanics after injuries force him off the bike. He builds his skills by fixing damaged cars, learning through trial, error, and documentation on YouTube. He presents his work in a direct, methodical way. He avoids attacking brands or individuals. He focuses on the process, the problems, and the solutions. His projects follow a clear pattern. He buys severely damaged salvage cars at a fraction of their original price. Many are considered beyond repair by insurance companies. He then rebuilds them step by step, filming every stage. He uses standard garage tools whenever possible, when parts or instructions are unavailable. He improvises. This approach makes his videos accessible and transparent. At the same time, a larger movement is growing: right to repair. It begins in electronics and agriculture, where companies restrict parts, manuals, and software access. By 2026, new regulations in the European Union push for greater repair access. Pressure from the United States adds momentum. The core idea is simple: if you own a product, you should be able to fix it. Matt becomes a visible bridge between this movement and the hypercar world. He applies the same principle to vehicles from brands like Bugatti, Ferrari, and Lamborghini, a space where control is traditionally strict. These manufacturers push back for several reasons. First, brand protection. A poorly repaired hypercar can damage reputation. Second, parts revenue. Some components are sold at prices many times higher than production cost. Third, safety. These cars operate at extreme performance levels, and failures can be catastrophic. Finally, resale value. Official service history directly affects market price. This creates a clear conflict. Owners want freedom, manufacturers want control, and Matt's projects bring that conflict into public view. Bugatti scandal, Rimac Group. The defining conflict. The turning point of the entire story begins with a crashed Bugatti Chiron Per Sport, once owned by FX Alex G, after a serious accident. The car is written off and enters the salvage market. It is later bought for a fraction of its original price. From the beginning, support from Bugatti was limited. The company refuses to supply key parts. Internal estimates suggest an official repair could reach $1.7 million. More critically, the car's VIN is rumored to be effectively blocked from factory systems. At that point, the car is not just damaged, it is cut off. That is when Matt Armstrong takes over the project, as the rebuild gains attention. Mate Rimac reinforces a strict position. He states publicly that structural work on a Chiron, especially the monocoque, can only be done at 2 specialized facilities worldwide. He emphasizes safety, according to him. Improper repairs on a carbon structure at this level can lead to catastrophic failure. At the same time, Bugatti maintains tight control over parts, diagnostics, and software. Critical components are not sold freely, without factory approval. Completing the car is meant to be nearly impossible. But Matt continues and documents everything. In one of the most talked about moments, he separates the monocoque using improvised methods instead of factory rigs. He relies on basic supports and standard tools. The process is slow, visible, and precise. He then moves on to mechanical systems, including the gearbox, solving problems without official guidance. When original parts are unavailable, he adapts. A custom exhaust from Valvetronic Designs is installed to replace missing factory components. Across multiple videos from 2025 into early 2026, the rebuild progresses step by step. Then comes the moment that changes everything. The engine starts. For the first time since the crash, the Chiron runs again, outside the official system, without factory support, and inside a normal garage. After that, the response shifts. Bugatti does not directly confront the build. Instead, Mate Rimac appears in content showcasing the precision and complexity of Rimac Group facilities. Some viewers see this as neutral. Others interpret it as quiet PR, an attempt to reassert authority without escalation. At the same time, debate grows. Critics argue that safety is being used not only to protect drivers, but also to justify strict control over parts and service revenue. Others defend the company, pointing to the extreme performance and risks involved. The custom exhaust adds another layer, dividing purists and supporters. One side sees it as compromising authenticity. The other sees it as the only way to make the car functional again. What began as a single rebuild now becomes something larger. This case stands out because it exposes the limits of ownership at the highest level. A multi-million-dollar car can become nearly unusable without manufacturer approval. At the same time, Matt Armstrong shows that those limits are not absolute. After this, the conversation changes. It is no longer just about one Bugatti. It becomes a question for the entire industry. Ferrari scandal, the most recent and most intense, 2026, after the Bugatti case. The conflict escalates further when Matt Armstrong begins a new project, rebuilding a crashed Ferrari 296 GTB. The goal is clear from the start. He does not just want to restore the car, he wants to turn it into a track street weapon. That means combining road usability with track-level performance. To do this, he sources genuine race-derived components, including parts from the 296 Challenge platform. Step by step, he documents the transformation, showing how a salvage car can be pushed beyond its original factory configuration. At first, the build follows a familiar pattern. Parts are difficult to obtain, but progress continues. Then, the situation changes. Ferrari begins to intervene more directly than in previous cases. According to Matt, the company refuses to sell final critical components needed to complete the car. Requests are denied. Communication becomes formal. He is told that certain work must go through official inspection channels. At the same time, software becomes a major barrier. Unlike older vehicles, the 296 GTB relies heavily on electronic systems. Access to key functions is restricted. Without factory authorization, certain modules cannot be activated. This effectively prevents the car from being fully operational, even if the mechanical work is complete. Then comes the most serious escalation, a final warning. In one of his videos, Matt states that Ferrari has issued a legal-style notice. The message is clear: stop or face consequences. This is no longer passive resistance. It is active enforcement. From this point, the story shifts from technical challenge to full controversy. One of the biggest rumors begins circulating soon after. Around the same time Matt is building his custom concept, Ferrari reveals a new high-performance variant, often referred to by fans as a 296 Challenge Stradale. The design direction appears similar: track-focused, aggressive, road-capable. Some viewers begin accusing Ferrari of taking inspiration from the same idea, while simultaneously blocking Matt's version. There is no official confirmation, but the timing fuels speculation. The community reaction intensifies. Some fans start calling for legal action, even suggesting a class action lawsuit. The argument centers on ownership rights. If a customer legally owns a car, should the manufacturer be allowed to restrict its functionality? At the same time, broader legal context adds pressure. New right to repair regulations within the European Union, expected to take effect around mid-2026, are seen by many as supporting Matt's position. These rules aim to increase access to parts, tools, and repair information. While not written specifically for hypercars, the principles apply. Another concern emerges: blacklisting. Just like in the Bugatti case, there are growing fears that the vehicle could be permanently restricted at a system level if key software remains locked. The car may never fully function in an official sense, no matter how complete the physical rebuild is. Matt responds directly. In a video titled, "Ferrari just sent me final warning," he addresses the situation without softening his stance. He explains the restrictions, shows the obstacles, and continues the build. The tone remains controlled, but the message is clear. He is not backing down. The audience reacts immediately. Thousands of comments appear within hours. Many support him. Some explicitly say, "Sue them." Others warn about legal risks. The divide seen in the Bugatti case returns, but sharper, compared to Bugatti. The difference is noticeable. Bugatti focuses on physical control, parts, structure, and process. Ferrari goes further by enforcing software restrictions and legal pressure. The control is deeper and harder to bypass. This makes the Ferrari conflict more intense. It is no longer just about whether a car can be rebuilt. It is about whether it can ever be allowed to work. Lamborghini and other brands, lower profile, but still significant compared to the conflicts with Bugatti and Ferrari. The issues involving Lamborghini are less explosive, but still consistent. Matt Armstrong has worked on multiple Lamborghini models, including the Revuelto, Gallardo, and Murcielago. In these cases, parts are sometimes easier to obtain, and there is less visible public pushback. However, challenges remain. Certain components are delayed, restricted, or require indirect sourcing. Progress is possible, but never fully straightforward. One notable controversy emerges in 2025, involving a Lamborghini Murcielago previously rebuilt by Matt. The car is sold for around £30,000 to a buyer named Antonio Montanino. Shortly after, the buyer claims the vehicle is undrivable due to missing or incomplete parts. The story gains traction when The Sun publishes an article framing the situation as a customer being conned by a celebrity mechanic. Matt responds quickly. He denies misleading the buyer and states that the condition of the car was clearly communicated. He also offers to buy the vehicle back, attempting to resolve the issue directly. The situation does not escalate legally, but it adds another layer of scrutiny to his work, shifting part of the debate from manufacturers to accountability in independent rebuilds. Beyond Lamborghini, similar patterns appear across other premium brands such as Rolls-Royce motor cars, BMW, Audi, and McLaren Automotive. These companies rarely engage publicly. Instead, they apply quiet control. Parts are not always available on request. Certain repairs require official inspection. Access to technical data and software can be limited. The approach is less visible, but still effective. Across all these cases, a common pattern emerges. Manufacturers consistently justify restrictions using two core arguments: safety and brand protection. High-performance vehicles operate under extreme conditions. and improper repairs can create real risks. At the same time, maintaining strict control helps preserve image, exclusivity, and resale value. Different brands apply different levels of pressure, but the underlying logic remains the same. Control is not optional, it is built into the system. Deep analysis and community reaction across all cases. A clear strategy emerges from brands like Bugatti, Ferrari, and Lamborghini. The goal is consistent: protect revenue streams and preserve brand image. Parts and servicing are not just technical necessities, they are major profit centers. By controlling access, manufacturers maintain pricing power and ensure that every repair meets their standards. At the same time, they must manage public perception. Too much restriction risks backlash. Too little control risks safety incidents and brand damage. This creates a delicate balance between enforcement and optics. In this context, Matt Armstrong occupies a unique position. To some, he is a disruptor, challenging an outdated system. To others, he is taking unnecessary risks with machines designed for extreme performance. What works in his favor is his approach. He documents everything, avoids personal attacks, and focuses on solving problems. This gives him a degree of credibility. He is not presenting himself as anti-brand. He is presenting himself as pro-ownership. The community response reflects this divide. On platforms like YouTube and Reddit, discussions grow rapidly with each new video. Comment sections fill with thousands of opinions within hours. One side, often called purists, argues that hypercars should only be handled by factory-trained specialists. They emphasize safety, engineering precision, and long-term value. The other side supports independent repair. They argue that ownership should include the right to fix, modify, and rebuild. The hashtag right to repair hypercar begins appearing more frequently, linking these debates to a broader global movement beyond online arguments. The implications are larger. If pressure continues from creators, consumers, and regulation, manufacturers may be forced to adjust. Laws in regions like the European Union could expand access to parts and technical data. This would directly impact how hypercars are maintained and valued. Easier repair could lower long-term ownership costs and reduce waste by keeping damaged vehicles on the road. At the same time, it could challenge exclusivity, one of the core pillars of the hypercar market. What started as a series of rebuild videos is now influencing how people think about ownership, control, and responsibility in the highest tier of the automotive world. Future outlook and conclusion. Looking ahead, 3 realistic scenarios begin to take shape. First, legal escalation. If tensions continue, Matt Armstrong could face direct legal action from brands like Ferrari or others. If that happens, the case could become a landmark moment for the right to repair movement in the automotive world. It would force courts to define what ownership truly means for high-performance vehicles. Second, partial compromise. Manufacturers such as Bugatti, Ferrari, and Lamborghini may begin to loosen control, but only slightly. Limited parts access, restricted software permissions, or certified independent repair channels could emerge. This would reduce public pressure while maintaining core control. Third, regulatory intervention. Authorities in regions like the European Union and the United States could push stronger right-to-repair laws. If enforced at scale, this would fundamentally change how hypercars are serviced. Modified and resold, control would shift, at least partially, from manufacturers to owners. At the center of all this is one core question. When you buy a hypercar, do you truly own it? Or are you buying access, limited, conditional, and controlled? The answer is no longer theoretical. It is being tested in real time. Because what Matt Armstrong is doing goes beyond rebuilding damaged cars. Each project challenges a system that has operated quietly for decades. Each video exposes how much control still sits with the manufacturer, even after the sale is complete. He is not just fixing machines, he is forcing an entire industry to confront its own rules.